Hello everybody and welcome to Dungeons & Drams. Today we're going to be doing one of your more requested videos, and that's how to make a magical shop. Now this is something that I'm going to be using ChatGPT with. I've come up with a prompt that I think will help, and if you have been kind of waiting to get in on doing this, this might be a good one to start with because this can be as creative as you want and there's very few rules with a magical shop. So let's go over to ChatGPT and we'll talk about the prompt. As always, we're going to tell it who we are and what we're trying to do. I'm a dungeon master who needs to design a magic shop. I want you to describe the location, the owner, including their appearance, mood, goal, and secrets that they might have, the theme of the magic shop, the security measures preventing stealing, that one's important and pretty cool, the shop layout, the methods of payment that the owner will take, maybe it's not always gold, maybe it's secrets, or maybe it's a trade or a magic item, any rare or unique items. This could be something like a MacGuffin, and you'll have to give it some information for that, and the history of the shop, because something like that is actually just fun to have. We have our magic shop. The magic shop known as Arcana's Enigma. You're going to be surprised at how little work that you have to do, especially if you needed this quick, this is the way to go. The magic shop known as Arcana's Enigma is nestled in the heart of the arcane quarter of a bustling city, surrounded by old ivy-covered buildings and narrow cobblestone streets. The location hums with a potent magical aura, attracting all sorts of magical practitioners and enchantment enthusiasts from far and wide. Now, that's our location, and what I love is it actually even came with a description. I wouldn't quite read that verbatim if I was playing a game, but that gives me plenty to go on, like minimal improvisation. So the owner here, I'm not going to read everything here, but what I want to point out is that it did point out he's a gnome wizard, gave him a name, gave him a description, and then also it talked about kind of his attitude, like he's cryptic and distant as the moon. He enjoys the company of other magic users and loves to share his wisdom. So you walk in the door and all of a sudden he's chatting with your wizard, or he's chatting with your druid, or he's chatting with your sorcerer. Maybe not the sorcerer, but you get it, especially because he's a wizard. He might be a little salty. All right. So Eldon's goal is to discover and preserve arcane knowledge. So that's something useful. Maybe you have a book that you kept, who knows? Maybe that's something that you could trade. His secret is that he's got this thing called an obsidian orb, which is item that the game and the ChatGPT just made up. Now there are some references to it. I looked just to see if it was an official item. Not really. Some people have called things obsidian orbs. Either way, if you're interested in creating an obsidian orb, you can check out the video I did on creating magic items. So you could just plug this thing in there and say this is owned by a wizard who it's a cursed item and it's whatever, and it'll spit out something cool. So now you can use multiple of my videos all together and really start to put stuff together. It's a cool thing that we're building here. So it says where he keeps it. It's also rumored to corrupt the user. Like, that's a cool concept. Now, the theme of this place is a harmonious blend of the ancient and modern, intriguing labyrinth filled with mystical paraphernalia, blah, 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 spellbooks, arcane scrolls. So this is going to be mostly arcane stuff, which makes sense with the name. Security measures. I've been dying to get to this part. He has many magical measures in place to prevent stealing. Nice. There is an invisible arcane barrier at the entrance that only allows entrance to those who Eldon allows. So maybe you need to ask it and ask if you can come in. Individual items have a glyph of warding on them that would trigger a stinking cloud spell if tampered with or stolen. In addition, Eldon has a familiar, clever raven named Inky who keeps an eye on shoppers and alerts Eldon to any suspicious behavior. This thing just randomly generated a familiar for a wizard. Like, awesome. All right, shop layout, a little bit less interesting, but if you're making a map, then this matters. So it's got a ground floor, it's a large oak counter, and upper floors, those are his private quarters, so maybe your rogue's sneaking up there while people are distracting him, and meets Inky the Raven, but we'll see. Oh, and it's got the chamber housing the obsidian orb is up there. All right, so payment. He accepts traditional gold and silver, but being a connoisseur of the arcane, he also welcomes magical items, rare ingredients, arcane knowledge, or even a favor in the future as an alternative mode of payment. That's not like novel, it's not a hugely innovative thing, but this also could say like the only thing he cares about is money, and that makes some sense. He happens to be a wizard, so I get why he'd want the other stuff. He's probably running the shop because he's more interested in the items that come through the door. Rare items. Beside the obsidian orb, some of the more unique items he may have include a phylactery of positive channeling, a deck of many things, Jesus, and a rare Ioun stone of mastery. He also possesses a complete set of elemental crystals that are said to have originated from the elemental planes. That's a cool thing. And then it talks about the history of the place. It's been around for almost a century. He inherited the shop from his mentor. famous collector of magical items. After the Archmage vanished mysteriously, he took up the mantle of the shopkeeper, been running it for 50 years, during which he has added many of his own findings. Okay, cool. So we now have everything we need to improv this thing, except a list of what he's selling. So let's get that. Super easy prompt. Can you generate me a list of items for sale and their prices? You can kind of read this. It's fairly large, but some of the more notable items here is you've got everything from a potion of healing up to a manual of bodily health. I mean, you've got Ring of 3 Wishes, like, come on. I love this. It says it's priceless or requires a quest or favor. So you're not just going to buy this Ring of 3 Wishes. I love that it thought to do that, because it could have just thrown an outrageous price and maybe your level 17 adventurers have an outrageous amount of money. And that totally could happen. The Vorpal sword here is at 100,000 gold pieces. Now, word of warning, the cost of items is super flexible and can be different for whatever campaign you're running. So you might want to adjust these. I'm not entirely sure what it's basing these prices off. When I've tried to figure it out in the past, it does go off of what the DMG kind of lists as the range for certain types of rarity. And as you can see, these are all official content. You could also have asked it to make a list of magic items that are not official content, things that are just fun, right? So let's do that. Actually, let's say I'm going to ask it to just generate 5 magical items that are, not official content. Let's see. Generate 5 more unique items that are not official D&D content, but would be considered common or uncommon and have fun uses, because that's always kind of fun. So I'm not going to go through all of these because I've already done this in one of my other videos, but you could see that it's just making stuff up. Aurora Locket, small silver locket that when opened reveals a miniaturized shifting northern lights display. It provides a soothing light equivalent to a candle and can be used to cast the spell dancing lights once per day. That's pretty cool. Baker's Everfull mixing bowl, a simple wooden bowl engraved with runes of creation. Once per day, it can create up to 2 pounds of any non-magical cooking ingredient like flour, sugar, salt, butter, etc., but not anything too valuable or rare, perfect for an adventurer with a penchant for cooking. Like, those are the cool little fun things that you're going to be poking at on the shelves while you're talking to this wizard. Okay, one more thing we want to go over. I like these lists, but it's totally inappropriate for the group that I have because I have a level 18 party. So I'm going to ask it to adjust the list of items that are in the store to be appropriate for a level 18 party. And it has no problem generating this. So as you can see, like, this is very easy to customize. There's not a whole lot more here to do other than just fiddle and make you watch that. So I'm not going to waste your time, but you should go fiddle and you waste your own time. This is a really good, fun thing to play around with. And leave a comment below for what kind of things you'd like to see on this channel. I have a ton of ideas, actually. The list keeps growing every day, but I'd rather do things that you guys would like to see over things that I want to make. And that'll do it for Magical Shops. Now, feel free to adjust that prompt in any way that you want. You could leave pieces out, or you could fill it in with a value that you want. Let's say that you really want a druid to be doing an alchemy lab or something like that. It doesn't matter. So anyway, I want you to check out the description below because it has all of the prompts that we talked about today. Also has a few other links to the usual stuff like our Patreon, which, wink, wink. But other than that, check out our live play that we do on Monday nights. I would love to see more people there. It's always fun to drink along with people live and just kind of goof off and have a good time. So if you like these AI videos, keep coming back every week and I'll be doing some more. And I hope you have a great rest of your night. Cheers.